Hey guys, welcome to Oblivion Vanguard. I'm here with a couple friends of mine, Ian and Kyle.
Hi. Hi.
And we're here to show you how to play Vanguard, Gen 1 style. This is going to be a little quick mini-series of videos, it should be 4, just teaching you how to play Vanguard through each of the formats. So you're going to learn first format, then Limit Break, Legion, and then finally Stride. This is mainly to help the new players to the game or people who are not exactly updated just get caught up real quick. So today we're going to start with Gen 1. So I'm going to go with classic Aichi using Royal Paladin Barkle. Note that he is banned as a starter. Okay, so in Vanguard, first shuffle your deck and draw 5 cards. The ideal hand has at least one of each grade. So my hand right now has...
Except for 0.
Yeah, you don't exactly want 0, unless you're playing Oracle Think Tank and have Boston Magus. Then that one's not so bad. But for the most part, you want to at least have one of each grade, 1, 2, and 3, minus 0. But the good thing about Vanguard that I just absolutely love, if you do not like your hand, you can redraw however many cards you want to get rid of. So right now for my hand, I think I'll redraw... I think I'll redraw 3. So that's 1, that's 2, ooh. Your hard movement. And do you. So shuffle in my deck a bit. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's a better hand for me. Alright, so you're gonna notice right here, this is your damage zone. This is your drop. And these are your rear guard circles. We'll explain everything as we come to it. So now, if in the game you flip a coin, heads or tails, first goes first or second. If you go first, it has certain advantages where you get to the higher grade faster. But the disadvantage is you don't get to attack. Second, you get to attack first. Partially, it just depends on what you're using. Sometimes going first is the better advantage. Sometimes attacking first is the better advantage. It just depends on what you're using.
Or its preference.
Or preference. Alright, so I'm going to draw. Ooh, see, I think I'm already doing pretty good. Alright, so let's see.
Next phase?
Now it's to the... Oh, now it's your ride phase. So you're going to ride a grade 1. I'm going to ride my Wingle. I'm going to move Barkle to my rear. Now, in your ride phase, you can always ride up to either the equal grade or 1 grade higher. So you can either, like right now, I could either ride another grade 1 or a grade 2, but I cannot go to grade 3. And as such, so if I'm guarding, I can't call anything that has a grade higher than the current grade of the Vanguard. Alright, so since I went first, I'm going to use the ability of Barkle to search my deck for a future knight, Lou, and call it to rear guard. So I'll open my deck. Hey, Lou is my second card. I'll move him right here. And I'm going to shuffle my deck up a little bit.
And a side note, with most starting Vanguards, most of them have an ability that's called Forerunner, which it allows, whenever it's ridden on top of by a unit of the same clan, you can move it to any rearguard circle you want.
That tends to be a very good help with most, if not all decks, because a lot of them, like Barkle's ability, you get a call at another unit, and then it just makes things go a bit faster. And then I think just about every clan has a Forerunner, or, as you can see right here, a Pioneer.
Yeah, it used to be called Pioneer, but now it's called Forerunner.
Okay, so what is lose ability? An act. Act means you can activate at any time during your turn.
But you have to choose to activate it.
Yes. And it uses something called counterblasts. Counterblasts are in cards in your damage zone. So let's just skip to end phase. I'm not going to guard an attack by whoever, so that goes there. Alright. So let's say he made one attack. Now it's my turn again. I draw, and then I'm going to ride into Blaster Blade. Now, auto. If you see right here, it says auto. Auto means at the moment you summon it, it's got to be activated if possible. Am I correct?
Or the moment that a condition is met.
Yes. So, for this, Counterblast 2, this unit is placed on Vanguard. You may pay the cost, and if you do, choose an opponent's rearguard and retire it. And he has the same ability as a rearguard, except it has to be a grade 2 or greater rearguard. So I have now a counterblast. I can activate Future Night Lose ability if I choose. Get a Future Night Lou, a unit named Sparkle and Floval from my rearguard and put them into my soul. And I can search for a deck, my deck for... Oh wow, that's actually evil.
Yeah.
I can search my deck.
That's why Sparkle is banned now.
Yeah.
Sparkle, which I actually don't understand because the current format, it makes Sparkle seem very okay in the current format, but it's still banned, so just know that.
Yeah. But we're not going to get to that because we're dealing with Gen 1 format. So it's search for Blaster Blade and write it, and then shuffle my deck. As you can see, I already have a Blaster Blade, so I'm not really going to bother with that. Alright, so next I'm going to call out High Dark Reader Kane, and I'll leave it at that. So now.
Doesn't Akane have a skill?
Yeah, but I can't activate it. Counterblast 2. I'm at 1.
Okay.
My imaginary opponent did not pull the trigger.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna go straight to battle phase. I'm gonna attack my Vanguard. Now, this is where something awesome happens. The Vanguard, your Vanguard has a special ability of a drive check. Drive check is when you check the top card of your deck, and it can be either one of 4 triggers, depending on what you put in your deck. It can either be heal, the heal trigger, as you can see in my hand, and it has the green icon right here. This gives plus 5,000 to my Vanguard or Rearguard, depending on who I choose, and I heal 1 damage. Now, to heal, there are certain conditions. You must have greater or equal damage to your opponent. Now, that does not count if my opponent's at 2 and then I just managed to get a heal damage, a heal trigger on my damage, and I don't get to heal.
Because technically what happens is, when a trigger is revealed, it's technically not in the damage zone yet until the trigger effect resolves.
Exactly. So you do not get the trigger as far as heal. Now, that's just the heal trigger. Next, you have a stand, if it wants to come. Your stand trigger, now, for stand trigger, it's the same thing. You can give a 5,000 boost to whichever your rearguards, but say, if I had attacked with Akane first, and now I'm checking my drive. If I got a stand trigger, I get to re-stand Akane, and if I so choose, give her a 5,000 point boost. This allows you to get more attacks off and deal more damage to your opponent. The next, and is probably the more popular trigger that everyone loves, is the critical trigger. Same as before, you give 5,000 to whoever you choose, but it gives an additional critical, which means you get to deal more damage. So, say, for my drive check, I got, oh wow, heal trigger. Yeah. I had gotten the critical trigger of Lu. So rather than just dealing 1 damage to my opponent, it's 2, so he has to check twice. Tends to be more advantageous. That's the right word, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Tends to help you more so just to end the game quicker, so before your opponent gets something really monstrous off. Alright.
Final trigger.
Oh my god. Alright, so let's kind of move things back. So, turns ended. Let's say my opponent's at 2 damage. Alright. I'm not going to guard anything, so he has 2 field. I take 1 damage. And the second critical trigger. Now, the triggers on your opponent's turn, when you're being dealt damage, like if you pull them from damage, all they do is really add the power boost. The only triggers that actually do something in the damage is heal and draw triggers.
Which technically they're not in the damage zone.
Oh, correct. And if the one that we have not, or are unable to go over, because I forgot to put them in the deck, are draw triggers. Right, they will have a red star box, and once you give the power, you get to draw a card from your deck. Okay, so that was 2.
And most people tend to not run stands. Although in the current format, I did start seeing some people like putting stands in the deck. I don't know why. And by that I mean stride format.
Yeah.
But the reason why they're not typically used is because a rear guard has to attack first or be rested, and if it goes in the damage zone, then there's kind of no point. Then again, critical triggers do the same thing, but they're more popular than they are with stand triggers.
Yeah, and as my own personal preference, I would probably enjoy replacing my stand triggers with either more critical or draw triggers to add to my hand size. Alright, so it's my turn again. I'm going to draw, and I'm going to ride Soul Saver Dragon. Now, you're going to see in her auto something called a Soul Blast. If you've noticed, the cards that we've been riding on top of disappear, and those are part of our soul, which allows us to use Soul Blast, for example. So currently I have 2 cards of my soul. I have my Wingull and Blaster Blade. Though since I do not have 5 in my soul, I am unable to activate this ability. And I don't think I have anything to add to my soul.
But for the purpose of this demo, we're not going to go through
the
mechanics of the deck.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole other thing, that video that Ian's going to make on how to build a deck. Okay, so I'm going to attack, so I attack with Akane. Boom. Alright. Grade 3s. If you notice, up here, this is the ability that all grade 3 units will have. It's called a Twin Drive. This allows you to tech your deck twice for triggers. So, first check, I got a Pongal. What's my second trigger? Okay.
Sorry for momentary lag.
Alright, against slot. So no trigger, but I did add to my hand size, which is awesome. So attack, attack. I get my little auto power of 3,000. So I'm at 18,000 for attack. And that's really it for this.
And then, as soon as someone hits 6 damage, they lose the game.
Or
so
if they
their
deck
basic
out.
objective. And deck out. The rule with the deck out is, as soon as you hit 0 cards in your deck, you lose.
So, with how the game goes, that's not something that is commonly seen, but it can happen.
Yes.
Well, I think from that just about covers it for Gen 1. What do you think? Did we miss anything?
I don't think we did. That's the basic premises of the game. There's so much more that goes into the game that go with the card's effects and new mechanics that we're going to talk about in the future.
Alright, other than that, we'll see you in the next video where we'll be discussing the Limit Break format. I am personally excited for that one. Alright, have a great day, guys.